All right. Welcome, everybody. It's day 2 of Post Leaders Workshop. My name's Sharon Krock. I'm the National Vice President. And you heard the song. And if you know, that's Mark's song, National President, to get on your feet, right? We're going to take some action. We're going to get everything done, right? So literally, I actually want you to get on your feet. I'm standing at my desk. I cheated. I knew I was going to be doing, but come on. I know I can't see you all, but I'm channeling my inner, get up, stand up. I need you to stretch, take a deep breath because it's the afternoon on the East Coast and maybe it's really late at night in Europe, wherever you are. I need you to stand up. Give you a second. Go ahead. Stand up, stretch your arms out, do a power pose, do something because I need you to wake up because you are going to want to listen to this session today. Both of these sessions. It's the Jill and Ann show and the Ann and Jill show, and you are not going to regret paying attention and hearing all of the good stuff they have to offer. So I'm just here to welcome you and get you all fired up. So now you've done your stretch and your power pose. I want you to do a couple squats. Oh, because then you're going to get your blood flow going. I don't want anybody falling asleep. So go ahead, do it again. And then when you're done, you can, with your SAME towel, right? All right. Come on, everybody. We are all geared up and ready. We've got all things membership and post resources information today, and you are going to absolutely love it. Take notes, share it with your posts, share it with your other leaders, and make things happen. Ann and Jill?
Thanks, Sharon. Great to have you with us today. Welcome, as we said, to day 2 of Post Leaders Workshop. I'm Jill Murphy, along with my colleague Ann McLeod. We want to thank our sponsors, Black & Veatch and Merrick, and we appreciate their participation in Post Leaders Workshop. I know they've got a bunch of people out in the audience. So without further ado, let's get rolling if my mouse would cooperate. Maybe Ann can advance the slide for me.
Sure.
Okay, so we have our code of conduct as usual, and it just says play nice together. Be nice, right? Okay, housekeeping. Yes, we're recording. Everything's going to be available on the Post Resources Center. You can use the Q&A for asking questions. You can chat with other people, or if you have a technical question, pop that into the chat and we'll get you help. There. And there's a couple of handouts today in the handout section, so make sure you download those, but we'll also make those available. All right, we are now going to kick off all things membership, but we have a video to play for you first. So let's cue the video. And so there you have it. That is what makes our members happy. All right.
What makes me happy is all of you.
I know. It's
our
awesome.
members. And hey, why don't we make someone who's on here now happy?
Ooh.
Do you want to share who won our free SBC registration and 3-night hotel?
I would. Our big winner is Thomas Nichols from Florida. So Tom, we'll be reaching out to you, woohoo, and tell you how you're going to get to go to SBC and be happy.
And coincidentally, I noticed Tom was the first one to put a comment in the chat when he joined. So Tom, you totally deserve this. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about our topics today. Value proposition. What's yours? What do members want? Changes to membership, and what does it all mean? So, over to you, Ann.
Well, hello. If you don't know me, I'm Ann McLeod, and I have been working at SAME for 11 and a half years. I oversee all of our events, membership, and business development. And what makes me most happy about SAME are all of our members. You guys are just truly awesome people doing amazing things. And I love working with all of you. So over to you, Jill.
All right. So I'm Jill Murphy. I am the Membership and Post-Op Senior Manager for those who don't know me. Here are my geeky facts. Yes, I'm a certified structured settlement consultant, but I have never structured a settlement my entire life. I just worked for that association for a period of time.
I don't even know what that is, to be quite frank.
They're on those late night TV commercials. PLW is literally my favorite event because you guys are amazing. I've never worked anywhere with chapters, or in this case, posts, who have volunteers who just do so much and really enjoy what they do and have a good time. So I love PLW. I can't wait till we're all able to do this in person. Fingers crossed next year. But save the date. Roughly, we have to get these dates out to everybody, but I think it's almost the same exact dates next year in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So yes, Stephen Carl, we can challenge a pizza eating contest because I do eat a lot of pizza. We have a whole formula about eating pizza here, but anyhow. And if you haven't caught that, if you are a Peloton person, check Ann and I out. We both are Peloton. COVID bought us. We bought into Peloton during COVID, and so now we are avid Peloton users. So
who else out there? NK is on, and I know NK is a Peloton and Power Zone Pack.
Yep. So join us on Peloton if you get bored with SAME, but you can never get bored here because there's so much going on. All right, let's get to our first poll. Do you know what your post value proposition is? Let's look at that. Let's see. What are people saying? They are saying, what are they saying? Come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we've got some people who know what it is. People are like, what's a value proposition? Okay. Maybe those are like our engineering, they might be our technical folks, right, Ann? We had some people, gosh, look at that. We're like neck and neck practically with responses here. All right.
Wow. Well, it's great that everyone is connected with this session today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. All right. Looks like we've got a bunch of responses. And yeah, we are kind of neck and neck. We got a few more people who don't know what their value proposition is at the post. So let's just talk about that for a second. So what is your value proposition? It's what you do uniquely and what you offer members at your post. We have 100 posts. They are all different. There are no two that are alike. So what you have to do is figure out, What's your unique value proposition? Maybe you are like Minot and you are just almost 100% military. Yeah, they got some sustaining members up there and some civilian government folks, but they need to develop their value proposition that is going to appeal to their members. That's what every post should be doing. And the streamers were redefined last year, so you can do you, right? You figure out what works for your post. You don't have to do everything anymore. You have to do something in industry government engagement because that's what we're all about. But you figure out what's your unique value proposition and then you sell it. Hopefully that opening video with all of those quotes from our government and civilian and uniform members will help you figure out, okay, what is it that's going to attract those? Because that is definitely a question that we get a lot. Then define it and plan on it. Figure out what's in it for me, what's in it for them. And the bottom line is just be relevant locally, but contribute to our strategic plan and our national direction. And that's pretty much it. It shouldn't take you a lot to figure it out. But if you need help, we are here to help you. So Anne's going to tell you how you figure it out.
Okay, well, obviously, a great way to figure it out is to survey your members. So you saw those quotes that came from a survey that we sent out to our uniformed service and government civilian members, asking them what do they like best about SAME and so forth. So it is a great idea to survey your members from time to time, not, every year per se, but, let them tell you what they think. Don't assume, what the reason that I may find a post valuable is not why Jill would. So it varies from person to person, but you will get some themes, right? And that help you articulate your themes and give your elevator speech when you're meeting a new person. Why would they want to join your post? So, ask people what's going to get them to show up and to participate, right? There's different motivators for different people. Some people are very patriotic. Some people are very ambitious professionally. Some people, want personal fulfillment. Figure it out and then tailor your message to those different things that people are searching for. When you are asking your members what they want, what they think, ask them what would they like to see that you are not doing. You've got to act on what people tell you. So, you know what they say, don't ask a question that you don't want to hear the answer to. So if you're not willing to change, then don't ask, except if things are dwindling down, then you may realize maybe we're not giving people what they want. If you are getting mixed results, 50%, 50%, well, then realize when you put something on, you're probably serving only a certain section of your membership, and another segment of your membership, they don't find value in that. And that is okay, as long as you are trying to meet your members' needs where their needs are. So, make sure that you try and give them what they want, and we are not assuming. Use your resources to deliver what they want. So, everyone has great people in their post, and this organization has great people throughout the entire society. So take advantage of other people's expertise. If you have some issue in your post that's new to your local environment, but another post maybe experienced that, reach out to the leaders of that other post. Ask them, hey, when this issue came up, who spoke about it? What can you tell us about your experience? How did your members overcome that? And that would be a great program for members in your post. Of course, you can reach out to the SAME National Office. We are here to support you. So if you're facing an issue and need help, let us know and we can try and connect the dots. Of course, we have our national leadership who are also here for the same purpose. Check out the post resources. We've got the Post Resource Center. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. and all of the resources that we have for you. And of course, our communities of interest are a huge source of information, technical information, expertise on different issues. And if you deliver value, people will show up and they will get more engaged because they are growing personally and professionally because of SAME, and you made them happy.
Yeah, we've got some great post examples of posts that have surveyed their members, or they have decided to take a specific direction. Our friends in Germany at Rhein-Main, they did a survey about 2 years ago. They took everything in that, they put it into play, and they've been doing really, really well. Central Virginia is another great example of a post that was struggling for a while. They did a survey. They decided they were going to focus on young members. And they did that, and they bounded back with great abandon. They are an amazing post. They even have grown to become a medium-sized post. So if you take what you learn from your members and put it into play, it will reap you the rewards. So let us know if you need help with that kind of information. We can get you started. In fact, I don't know if we've got anybody from Robbins Air Force Base Post joining us today. Give a shout out in the chat if you're here. They just launched a post survey to find out what their members want. So, we do this all the time for folks. Happy to do it for all of you. All right.
Sometimes you have to be ready for the consequences. I mean, if people are going to ask you for lower prices, or sometimes you can't deliver, but then you got to be happy if people are going to be unhappy. But better to know than not know.
And it's also a great time, if you're going to do a survey, to ask folks, hey, are you interested in being part of the post leadership? And you never know what you're going to get. You might get people who will be like, you know what? I have 2 hours to give every year. We talked about this yesterday with Matt and Sharon. And that's a great time to cultivate volunteers as well. So again, ask your members, what do they want? That's what's going to help you drive your value proposition. And that's what's going to get people to show up at your post. All right. Do we have any questions?
Yeah.
All right. Nothing yet. So let's roll on.
All right.
Poll 2.
Let us know. Let us know, what kind of SAME membership do you hold? Are you an individual member, a life member? Are you a sustaining member representative for your company? Maybe you hold multiple memberships, or maybe you're not sure what kind of membership you hold. There is a reason we're asking this. I mean, we can look you all up in our database and find this out. So what is the survey saying, Jill?
Let's see. We have... We've got some individual members. We got a couple of life members. We definitely have sustaining member reps. We've got 4 multiple. So if you didn't know, you could have multiple memberships and they could all be valid. Thankfully, we don't have anybody who doesn't know. So that's a good thing. All right, let's close that poll and let's see, what do we got in results? So about 27% are individual members. 19% are life members, 48% sustaining member reps, and 6% who are multiple member types.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, before we move on, there was a couple comments in the chat there about surveys. So we use SurveyMonkey, and we have a subscription to SurveyMonkey. We are actually more than happy to build the survey for you, deploy it through our SurveyMonkey. So, you don't have to do that. We're happy to do that. Jill has done it for a number of posts, as she mentioned. So just reach out to us and we are happy to take care of that for you.
And we even have a survey bank full of questions. So if you have questions that you want to ask or don't know what to ask, we have a whole bank of questions that you can pick and choose from. We can customize them. We can throw in, like I said, things about leadership opportunities, all kinds of things. And we're happy to do that for you. So yeah, we use SurveyMonkey. I know there are some, there's a Google version, survey version some folks have used. So just let us know. All of that sort of stuff is available either on the membership COI page, because they're the ones that came up with the bank of questions, and Post Resource Center. So let's see, do we have a question in the Q&A? How do you recommend addressing seasoned Post members who shoots down every idea that doesn't come from him, her, and due to the time served, usually kills a new board member ideas and their engagement? Yeah, that's a toughie. One of the things that we talked about yesterday with Matt and Sharon was, how do you try and move those seasoned members into maybe an emeritus position? And maybe you just have to gently do that. You do have to give people the room to grow. But Sharon and Matt had some comments on that, and I don't want to talk out of turn because I don't remember exactly what they were, but that recording is available on the PLW website, same.org/PLW, and you can go watch session 2 from yesterday and get some ideas about how to move some of those folks on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you do a survey and you have that information, right, people, it's hard to question data. So, you could say to the person, we did this survey. Why don't we just try this? Here's what the feedback is saying. Why don't we just try this, something new, and see how it goes? And, hopefully the person will realize, if you always get what you've always got, you can't get something different. What's that saying? If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got.
Exactly.
So if engagement is down, if you're not, recruiting more folks, well, it's probably time to shake things up.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to move on?
Ready to move on.
All right.
All right. So next we're going to talk about our membership changes. So what we want to say is don't freak out. And we have a quick thing to share.
Freak out. You freak, says she. Freak out. Freak out.
Our message is don't freak out. It's a great song, but don't freak out. So, do you know the last time SAME adjusted our dues? Was it 2018, 2015, 2013, or why would we adjust dues? Let us know what you think is the last time we adjusted dues. We are a membership organization. We do have a paid staff. So our dues allows us to provide products and services and value to our members. So unfortunately, we do need that income in order to operate. So what does the survey say?
Survey says, okay, we've got 16% of people who think it was in 2018, 38% who say 2015, 38% who say 2013, and just a few at 7% who are like, why would we adjust dues? So, Ann, tell us.
The answer is 2015 was the last time we had a dues adjustment. So that was 6 years ago. And of course, prices of things have changed. Can you imagine how much more we are doing now than in 2015? So it was really time for us to look at our membership structure, our dues, and so forth. So the National Board of Direction has approved at a special board meeting in July changes to our membership structure and dues. This was not done in a vacuum. We have used a lot of feedback from the past few years, we are getting emails and calls from our members every single day about joining SAME, about renewing, about their membership. We did have several focus groups of all different types of members. We asked folks about the value that they are getting from SAME. What are some of the, improvements that they think that we could make? How easy is it to understand our membership structure and so forth? So we took all of that information and we really looked at the way our membership is structured. And of course, in the end, what's important? We want to be able to better serve and manage our members at both the post and the national level. We want to simplify our complicated membership and dues structure. It is very complicated. When I joined the membership team in the beginning of 2020, I've been working at SAME for 10 years, but I was not in the membership team. And I really started looking into this stuff. I said, Jill, I don't get it.
And I said, welcome to my world.
Yes. And of course, we are a business and, we are not formed to make a profit, but that doesn't mean we don't need to make money. So we need to ensure our financial stability. We want to align what people are paying for the value that folks receive. And of course, we really need to cover the cost to serve members. We have personnel and overhead. There is a price to, producing our magazine, to our database, to our website, all of that good stuff. And these are all the types of things that we evaluated and the things that we want to make sure that we are able to do. So how are these changes going to affect SAME? What are the outcomes? All of our individuals will be able to engage anywhere with ease. What we have heard time and time again, especially with our sustaining member representatives, is, they're kind of not treated in the same way as an individual member. They're restricted to only being a member of the post that their company joins. And if they want to join another post, the whole company has to join. And if not, they have to create another membership. And that's why people have multiple memberships. We just want to be able to give everyone flexibility and consistency. We want our data to be accurate and up to date, and treat everyone the same and streamline our operations, which allows us to focus on more meaningful activities. Instead of being mired in paperwork and taking so long to update our database record, we could be spending time on creating more programs and services for our members. So we believe that the changes that we are going to make will help us do all of these things. So Jill's going to explain the individual membership changes.
Okay, so for individuals, everybody will pay annually. We have eliminated the multi-year memberships. If you are currently in a multi-year membership, like a civilian government or maybe a private sector 2-year membership, you will ride out that term, or your member will ride out that term. And when it's time to renew, they will fall into the new membership dues structure. So everybody will renew annually. I know it probably sounds like, gasp, this is where we told you, keep calm, don't freak out. Data shows in the membership world, if you renew annually, you keep members. We have members who don't renew, in some cases for 5 years, because they've been riding out this multi-year membership and we just lose them. They're gone. We have no idea where they went. So this is really going to help us actually in the long run retain members. If you are a current life member or you are a uniform member and you paid that $60 for the life of your active duty uniform, you're going to keep that. You are completely grandfathered. This only applies to brand new members. Okay. So if you're a uniform member and you're just coming in fact, we had our first one the other day who joined, I think, on the 5th of August. It was our first new membership under the new structure for uniform members. And we'll get to the rates in just a second. But understand that anybody who is a uniform member prior to the start of August is grandfathered. Okay, military, government, civilian, retired, nonprofit, academic, all of those people are going to pay the same rate. The only place that we have not charged the same rates for all these different categories has been in membership. So we are now going to have uniform structure within membership, as well as our events and other things that we do where we collect a fee for some activity. So at this point forward, everybody who is in any of those categories is all going to pay the same rate. Okay, one post is included in that membership. And for those of you who want to know, actually, most people only have one post. Probably folks on here have many more because you are our most engaged people. But for the most part, people have one post, maybe two if they're close together, say like a Northern Virginia and a DC, Baltimore, mid-Maryland, that kind of thing. But here's the great part. You're not now limited to just belonging to 3. If you want to belong to all 100 posts, you can do that. There is going to be a post fee, a small post fee for each post that you join, but you're no longer restricted. As I said, changes are in effect for brand new members starting August 1st, and then they will go into effect for people when they start to renew October 1st. So, in play, we are still going to be probably the lowest membership price in town. After we've done, as Ann said, we didn't do this in a vacuum. We looked at a lot of factors, and a lot of those things included looking at about 30 other organizations that are like SAME, either in maybe the military or the architecture, engineering space, or just government. And we were by far the lowest priced organization. So we're still in that category, thankfully, but now we're going to be able to make sure that we cover our costs for every member. And that'll be that. Okay, so here's what you want to know. New rates, all right? We have rates, obviously, still for young professionals, which is a little bit lower than sort of the regular rates, but you can see there's an increase for every category for the most part. We're still not charging students, and the additional post fee is $10 for additional posts. So there you have it. Again, everything's going to be available. And
and we will share with all of you, we did a lot of number crunching, and what we determined was it costs SAME basically $55 a person to cover the cost of their membership. So basically, we've got only 2 categories that have a dues that's higher than our cost to serve. And there are 3 categories that are not even covering the cost to serve them. So, the board determined, yes, it is worth it to allow young professionals from the government and academia, nonprofit, to subsidize those folks. So that is something worth noting. And before, I think there was only 1 category out of 8 that covered the cost. So now we've got 6 out of 8. So
right,
step in the right direction.
Absolutely. I'm going to answer Brett Jackson's question. He said, Joe did mention this yesterday. We have an investment of just about $1 million for a new, essentially a new database system, but it also website and a few other features and functions that we have been missing desperately. So that whole new system, that was a process to determine what was the right system. We sat through a lot of demos and asked a lot of questions and provided a lot of information, and we settled on one that we know is definitely going to make managing our membership not just only for us, but for post leaders, a lot easier. You will know with this new structure and this new database who is a member of your post, not having to worry about, did this company drop? Does that mean these members are going to drop? You're going to know who's a member. It will make a lot more sense. We have just begun discovery on this project, so it will not go into play until probably maybe the second quarter of next year. So let's see.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of questions that have come in. Let's see.
I've moved some of them. If everyone, I just typed it in the chat, but if you can submit your questions in the Q&A tab, it kind of helps us monitor what's a question and what are just comments.
Right.
Do we want to cover the sustaining member portion, and then we can go to the questions, because I'm thinking that is will probably be helpful.
Yep.
To cover. All right, so changes for company memberships. So one of the biggest changes is that we are decoupling the purchase of posts and the purchase of people. So currently our sustaining member structure is that a company joins and it comes with 6 individuals, and it includes 1 post, and then the company purchases membership in posts, and that comes along with 6 people. So it tied everything together, and there was really no way. It was just a mess, and it made it very difficult for individuals in a company to be engaged in the posts where they wanted. A company, as I said earlier, was basically forced to join a post just so one of their employees could be a member there, but maybe they didn't want to join Anchorage because they only have 1 person in Anchorage, and so on and so forth. So we've decoupled that. The company membership will include 1 post and 6 individual memberships. And those memberships can be assigned to any employee. Companies can then join posts, but the purchase of a post doesn't include any individuals. So really, why does a company join a post? So their company can get exposure, they can promote themselves as doing business in that particular area. Their individual members can then be a member of any post that they want, and as many posts as they want. We will have a corporate membership rate, so it's a little bit less than the individual rate that you saw before. A company can choose to put their individuals on their company invoice. So, get a list of all the folks with Jacobs, and it will list all of the employees that are on the invoice. The national point of contact can either say, yes, include Jill, or no, don't include Jill, or what have you. So we believe that this is going to really allow for individuals and companies to have more flexibility and really engage where they want to. So we've also streamlined the employee ranges. We've narrowed them down a little bit. We were just seeing that in the top ranges, there was very few companies. So we have, we've streamlined that a bit. So you can see the new rates here and the fees per post. The per post fee really has gone down for most companies, again, because we are decoupling the purchase of people with the purchase of posts. And we created a corporate individual rate and then a corporate young professional rate. So another benefit of someone joining as a company member of SAME, the individuals of that company, regardless if they are on the company's bill or not, they get a lower individual rate. We've also made some changes to the public agency and the academic institution memberships. We've streamlined those, and we are going to allow public agencies to have a multi-year membership, and that's really because it is so difficult for an agency to get government funding for a membership, and so we made an exception there to make it easier for those folks to have an agency membership with SAME. So what's next? Jill, you want to cover this part?
Absolutely. Okay. So, and I know there's a question in the Q&A about this. So individuals, you're going to get an invoice just like you usually do when you come up for renewal next. So if you renew in November, you're going to get an invoice that reflects these new changes. So we're starting that with renewals for people who are due October 1st. And as you may or may not realize, we start the renewal process 60 days prior to renewal. So those folks who are due to renew in October have probably gotten their first email already about renewing. And anybody who is new, a brand new member, will pay the new rate. If you have somebody who was a member 4 years ago and they have dropped off and they're coming back, they're going to come back and pay that new rate when they rejoin. So again, if you renew in November, you're going to be part of this sooner than somebody who doesn't renew until next August. The reality is that most people are not going to be affected by this until probably sometime in 2022. So we've got some time to sort of get the word out and explain how all of this is going to work for people, for our companies. Again, our company members, that will start, we think, April 1, 2022. That's our target date because that's the target date to have our new database and EMS, which is sometimes we call it the EMS, sometimes we call it the AMS, new database. Once that goes into play, we will build the new structure into that. So that when that goes live, that's when our companies will start to see a change in their dues. And like I said, a lot of those companies then won't even see a change until almost 2023, because if you renew in the first couple of months of 2022, well, you're still going to renew at the old rate, and then the next time you're up for renewal. So there's a lot of time to get the word out again and help people understand how this is going to affect them. The other thing that we're going to do is we are going to do one-on-one with each company as they renew. So we're essentially going to split up our membership team, and each of us is going to have a core group of companies that they work with to help them understand how this renewal is going to change their membership, get them to the point where they're like comfortable with what they're getting, what it costs them, and what posts they're able to participate in, or how their members are able to participate in them. We are working to revise all of our membership materials. In fact, the individual membership brochure has already been updated. You can find that on the Post Resource Center document exchange. It is also available in the, where else did I put it? I think I put it on the membership COI page. Have to double check that. So we are working to update all of those materials. We will get those to you. But if you have existing materials, make sure you jettison them because they've got the old rates on them. And we will certainly handle all the communications that go out to our new, renewing and new members. All right. Ann.
So we have uploaded a cheat sheet into the handout, so you can download that now. You know, we understand that these are big changes. And so as leaders in SAME, we ask you to please be positive about these changes. You know, you are our advocates. Help people understand. And this has been voted on by the board, and it is all of our obligation to carry it out and make sure that it is as successful as possible. So as Jill mentioned, we want to discard all our outdated materials. So if you have membership applications that you bring to meetings, you know, hoping that if a non-member comes, they can fill it out, please make sure that you discard that because they will be outdated. The sustaining member forms right now are still accurate. And the reason that we are not implementing the sustaining member changes yet is because it really, our database has to be able to support the change, and we're not going to invest money to change our current database when we've got a new database coming on board. So we are working on new membership materials. And one of the things that we're going to be doing with our membership materials is creating some pieces that you can customize for yourselves. So, there's a part on SAME and why someone would want to be a member of SAME, and we'll have a part for you to talk about your post, your unique value proposition, and why someone should join your post. Now, as Jill mentioned, the full impact of these changes aren't really going to be known until the end of 2023. And that's the first year that we will have an entire year of every single current member on the new structure and on the new dues. We will need to look at the post size standards because it's going to be all different. So this is one of the reasons why we had our little song, Don't Freak Out. Don't freak out. Yes, this is going to be a time of transition and change. And so in the end, it really will help with engagement, value. All of the people who are, members of your post, you are going to know that they're members. Someone just put them in there because there was an available slot and you never even heard of them before. So do not hesitate to ask us any and all questions that you may have. And there are many that are in the chat and on the Q&A now. So I think it is time to, let's not ask this. Let's go to our questions first.
I've answered a few. One of the popular ones is life membership. So if you didn't see Joe's note in the chat, you are no longer able to purchase a life membership, but it can be bestowed. So it's not completely gone, but you just can't purchase one anymore.
And if you currently hold a life membership, your life membership is still in place in the current, you're grandfathered in. So don't worry about all of you life members. You're good. You're
right.
Good.
Exactly. Okay. So there have been a couple of questions also about the post dues structure, how that affects post dues and what do they collect. So we did do a calculation and we said, okay, if every single member and every single company and every single rep transferred exactly the membership that they have today to the new structure, what would that look like for posts? And you guys would be getting a whole lot more money is what I can tell you. There is absolutely going to be, you will get a piece. If somebody picks you as a second post or a third post or a fifth post or a 29th post, if they pay for your post, you will collect a fee for that.
Yeah. So basically for every individual, sorry to interrupt, Jill, every individual paying member, the post will get $5. So, you're not going to get money for the current life members and for the current uniform members, but for every other member, you will get $5 per member, regardless of their dues. And for the company members, you still get 15% of the per post dues according to the dues schedule. So the revenue share is different, is the same. The rates are different for companies, but for individuals, you will get $5 per paying individual.
Yeah. So like I said, if everything transferred the way that it is today, posts would make substantially larger, have substantially larger dues share. So
yes,
look at that as a good thing, right? More money to do more stuff, right?
Yes. Well, we don't expect that every company is going to keep things exactly the same. And what's interesting is that dues will go down or stay the same for a number of companies. Yes, it's going to go up for some others. And so that's why it is very important for you to be able to articulate what we started with. What is your unique value? So companies are really going to say, do I need to keep a member of 20 posts? Do I need to keep these? If it's easy for them to see the ROI and what is the value of being the member of your post, they're not going to question it. They're going to keep it. Maybe they'll add more. For the smaller companies, our per post dues have gone down. So I think it will be easier for smaller companies to join more posts now.
Yes. For sure. Okay, so we've got some questions about those folks that are in those grandfather categories like uniform and life members, and does the $10 post fee for an extra post apply to them? And the answer is yes, it does. So if you are a life member and belong to more than one post, starting October, you will get a invoice for however many posts that you decide you want to belong to. And just like our company,
beyond the one post,
beyond the one, and just like our companies, if you want to change that or you have questions, email us, call us, chat with us on our website. We have a chat feature in case you didn't know that. Katja's great. She is so responsive to our members, and she will tell you exactly what your price could be if you want to add 12 posts, all 100 posts, or just 2. And she will make that adjustment for you, and you'll be good for another year. So here's an interesting one. I saw someone ask about tools, and Michelle says, hey, have you thought about creating a video? So I know Stephen Carroll is out there in the crowd. Put that on his to-do list. That's his space. But that's a great idea. And we'll definitely be developing tools over the next several months to help you explain how the new system works and when it goes into effect and what it means.
Yeah, and I think for companies, like we said, we will be doing webinars for our corporate members and invite them to the webinars based on renewal dates. 3 to 6 months in advance. We want to give everyone adequate, more than enough time for them to understand what the change is, go back and figure out how is this going to work for our company. And one of our team will work with every company individually to help them figure out, here's what you've got, here's where you want to be. Let's figure out how it's going to work. So we will have webinars. We're going to record those, of course, and definitely will supply you guys tools to help you understand, and because you do need to understand, because people will ask you. Absolutely. I saw a comment from, I think, Elizabeth, who said it's annoying to tell people just ask national. No. Yeah, we will make sure that so this is the first part of it. The company stuff is way more complex, but we've got a little while before that goes into effect. So
right. Ed Chamberlain has asked, what was the cost? I'm assuming he's talking about the cost to serve a member. So when I joined SAME almost 5 years ago, I began that calculation. And at the time, it was a little over $52. And right now, it is just at that $55 mark. So our costs have increased over the last 5 years. And if you take that and put it against what our dues were up until recently, until this new change, you'll see that we really were not covering the cost of serving a member. So, we're right at that point. And I think the other thing that's actually worth mentioning is since it's going to take us probably at least 2 years, maybe even 3, before we get every member through this new cycle, you can pretty much be guaranteed we're not going to raise dues, and we're certainly not going to change the structure again. I mean, the structure change is a once and done kind of thing. There might be a little tweak here or there, but generally speaking, we are not going to change the structure. But in terms of raising dues again, we got to get through the cycle to make sure that it works. And, we have run many, many dues scenarios. I can't tell you how many things that we have looked at over time to sort of find the right balance and make it equitable for everybody. So, it might seem a little bit painful right at the moment, but it's only going to be painful for a little bit. And then we're going to let things play out and see how they go. And will we see a drop in membership? Probably. But who's going to drop? Those S reps that are just plotted into somebody's company membership because they had an extra slot and they've never come to anything and they've never participated and they don't open your newsletter. You know what? If we lose them, we lose them. And that's okay. We want to know who are our engaged members. And just remember, the happy video at the beginning right? The whole value proposition plays right into this. If we give people what they want, they are going to be active, engaged members, just like all of you. So with that, let's see, do we have some other questions that have come in?
Jill, I had seen a question earlier from Brett that was asking about the new system, and is this going to help posts do things like registration and stuff? You know, Brett, I love this question. So we our new database is actually built on a Salesforce platform. So it does have lots of, add-ins and functionality. This is one of the things that we talked about when we were looking at different vendors. Is it possible for our posts to run registration for their events through our database? Makes it easier for when someone is signing up to know whether they're a member or not. Then you don't have to audit things. So that is something that we have looked at, that we and me being part of events as well, really hope that we can do. Going to be much easier for you guys to run reports with all sorts of data. We are hoping that it will also help ease communications, that maybe you can just send emails to your post members right through our one database and not have separate email marketing systems. So these are all things we actually will be moving into the 21st century with our database. And, it was a very large part of our decision making on what can we help the posts with this new database. So lots of exciting stuff. And I guess Post Leader Workshop next year, maybe we'll have a lot of training about the new database.
I think so. To add on to that, Joe's made a comment here in the chat about, when we were looking at this new database and we presented our current structure to them for sustaining members, they all went, it eliminated a lot of vendors right away because they just couldn't manage the structure. So then we took a step back and said, ooh, maybe we need to change things. And given all of the data that we took in from all over the place, really, that really helped us drive the decision to, one, find a database vendor that could help us and work with us and manage us, and two, create a structure that made a lot more sense for our society. So, just some back history, if you want to understand Natasha, who's out this week, otherwise she might be here with us because she has been very integral in this process of developing a new structure. She's been here for, 23, 24 years. So she has this wealth of history about how things were and why they were that way. And just so you understand why you as a company had to buy a post, originally, the way that things were structured was that companies paid by their location. So if you were company ABC and you had an office in Chicago, you paid for Chicago. If you had an office in New York, you paid for New York. If you had an office in Jacksonville, you paid for Jacksonville, right? So you paid based on your office. Well, then things shifted a little bit, and then they moved to you buy whatever post you want to buy. Well, now things have shifted again, because how many of us for the last year and a half have been working remotely? And so there are people who work for companies that there is no office space near them ever. So, this just allows a lot more flexibility, I think, for everybody. And that's just a little bit of history about how we had the structure that we had and why we're moving to something new, because times have changed and we're going to move on with it. So
we have a question from Joshua McLeod, who says, we have members that use different emails and phone numbers than they use for national. Will the new system allow for multiple contacts? Well, Joshua, one of the reasons people have multiple emails in our system is because right now our system cannot accommodate multiple records, and everyone has to have a unique email address for that. So this is something we'll have to write down, Jill, and I'm sure that it's possible that people can indicate, when I get an email communication from the national office, send it to this address. When it's about a post, send it to this address. There are so much customization options and preference options in the new database. So we will make sure that we find out that answer, but I would be shocked if it wasn't true. But right now, a lot of the reason that people have multiple emails on record with us is because of the way our membership is structured. They've got a number of memberships, and each membership has to have a unique email. And so there you go.
Yeah, email tends to be the unique ID in any system, whether that's us or Amazon or whoever.
Exactly.
That tends to be the unique identifier to determine, like, hey, reset my password. Okay, well, what email do you want us to send it to? The other thing you probably don't recognize is even if you have left a company and no longer have access to that email, if you need to update your membership because you've left somewhere, you can still use that email to log in. The system doesn't know that the email's not valid. It still works until you try to send an email to it, and then it'll bounce back. But just for login purposes, if you need to log in and you've changed your email and you don't have access to it, doesn't matter. The system doesn't know that. It's just a computer. So food for thought.
Exactly.
All right.
And we had a question from Carmel Patterson. I don't know if we answered this or not. She says, or he says, how do the new fees work for companies with a small business partner? Well, the small business, the smallest companies, those with 1 to 10 employees, we have streamlined the rates where they will only get 3 individual representatives. So I think that the fees are actually a lot more reasonable for a smaller company. And 70% of our member companies are small, meaning 100 employees and less. So we made sure that the fees would still be equitable, reasonable for those folks. So hopefully that answered your question. If not, let us know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our final poll for today. Are you calm? You get it? You're like, yeah, it makes sense. Still trying to absorb and figure out what it all means? Are you completely freaked out? Or you're just not even sure you should feel one way or the other? What does that look like? What is that going to give us? I'm dying to see the answers to this one.
You know what? I just thought, Jill, we should have asked this question in 2 ways. As a post leader, how do you feel? And as your company representative, how do you feel? Because really all of these changes, yes, they are big, but as a leader of within SAME, we need to do what is best for the society, instead of thinking about it as, oh, geez, my dues just went up and that's one less pair of shoes I'm going to be able to buy this year. So
I think what I'm most excited about the fact is nobody has answered freaked out for sure. So that's a good thing. So glad you're all still absorbing it, or you get it, or you don't think you should have a feeling either way. That's all good. But, Anne, myself, the entire membership team, in fact, the entire staff here at SAME, we are here to support you as a post leader, as a member. So, you kind of wear 2 hats. I'm wearing my post leader hat, or am I wearing my member hat? We're here to support you regardless. All right. Absolutely. So let's close that poll up. What have we got finally? Okay. 53% say they're still absorbing it. 11% say, should I care either way? And 37% are like, I get it. So awesome. That's great.
That is awesome.
That is very great. Hopefully we've kept you from freaking out, which is good. So, just ride the wave with us, because, as you go through this, we're going through it too, but we're going to do it together and it'll all be fine in the end. And I think what we are going to get to is a place where we know who is really engaged, who's really a member, who we can count on to be a leader. These are things that we kind of have been lacking because we've had this kind of funky membership. And, you know, you're going to see people drop off your post roster that maybe it was somebody who that's where they first joined when they were in uniform 26 years ago, and they have since moved on, and now maybe they're not even in uniform, but they've kept your post for nostalgia. You might lose that person, but is that really that bad? Probably not, because they're not engaging with your post in any way other than they're there for nostalgia. So nonetheless, okay. So I think, you know, we've really covered all of the questions that have come in. Obviously, if you have other questions that pop up later in your brain, shoot me an email, shoot Ann an email. We're happy to help you work through any questions that you have regarding all of this, because it's a lot. We get it.
Yes,
and
it's a lot. And, you know, once we start going through this, as the changes are implemented, you know, you just got to remember that we really can't compare ourselves to before. So there is not going to be a comparison, and that's why we said don't freak out. I mean, we have to, you know, as data people, right? You know, membership people, we're always, how many members do we have? It changes day to day. We're going to have to remember, if we go from 25,000 to 20,000, that's okay.
It's
okay. Yes.
All right. I think we're done with this topic. So let's move on to something a little happy. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Black & Veatch America. I know they've got folks on today. I've seen Nick Desport out there in the chat, and I know Charisse Knotts is out there. She's it's probably close to midnight her time in Germany. So thanks for being on with us today. And we thank you for your sponsorship. Let's recognize some of our awards, because we didn't really get to do this during JETC, but we want to recognize all of the posts that won a streamer in 2020, because let's face it, last year was different, to say the least. So we had, I think, 84 streamers that were submitted, and 81 won the streamer. So congratulations to all of you who did something last year that contributed to our strategic plan, our national direction, supported members, shifted, pivoted, changed how you did business. Hats off to you, because 81 posts were able to achieve the streamer. And that's just amazing.
And the feedback from our members has been incredible. About how SAME was adapted quickly. We are resilient, right? That is who we are. We continue to deliver value, and the feedback from everyone has been fantastic. So thank you to all of you. You guys, I mean, awesome to you. You know, we're full-time staff. We're doing this 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week sometimes. You guys have your day job and your volunteer gig, and you kept all of our members happy as well. So thank you so much for everything that you have done, and let's keep it up, because I think that it's still going to be challenging for a little while.
Yeah. All right. So then we had all of these posts that won their streamer with distinction. So that means you went like way above and beyond, and you really killed it last year. So yay to all of those posts from Atlanta to Washington, D.C., and everywhere in between on that list. That's amazing. We got big posts, small posts. I have to give a shout out to Minot. I'm not sure if anybody is on with us today from Minot, but Minot grew their posts. Their whole goal was to grow to 100 members during the centennial year, and they did it. They grew 62%. Now, it wasn't hard because they were a really small new post, but kudos to them because they really knocked it out of the park. So congratulations to everybody who was part of, the post last year. You really did an amazing job. And I don't think we've ever had this many distinctive streamers with distinction. So yay on you guys. All right, we're going to leave you with one last video, but we hope that you're going to come back and join us for the next session, which is, we're going to talk about resources. So come back at 4:00 Eastern time for that. And just want to leave you with this last video.